Now that you've reached a place whereby you're unable to do some of the things you used to do, it will be necessary to make choices and change. Determining what these changes will be will take some time. You can expect that life will change for you over the next year or two, if it already hasn't, as you continue to regain and take back some of the things that you used to enjoy freely. Change is necessary because until now you haven't made the changes that were necessary to heal. For some of us, this requires significant changes in our lives that force us and push us to make the difference and give us that extra desire to want to get better. This was the case for myself, and this required a realignment of many of the priorities in my life, including food preparation. Food preparation will be prevalent as one of the main forces throughout this recovery program, since it is necessary for proper healing as well as the other things that we'll continue to talk about. Food preparation will require some time, however, it will get simpler and easier as you go, and the change into this lifestyle will actually involve a more simpler way to eat and structure for food. So a program will have to be self-designed by you to suit you. We'll talk about this as we go. No one size fits all. That means that there are many different food programs that are available for you out there. You'll have to decide which is best for you, as well as each of the following suggestions which are provided but are not a one way to do things type of approach. For example, we all have different ways to manage stress. For some of us, this is exercise. For some of us, this is to remove ourselves and find a quiet space or time. For some of us, meditation may be effective. Meditation may also be a tool that provides us with a relief of pain on some of the days that are particularly difficult. Regardless, meditation is something that is strongly suggested in much of the literature and should be tried. You may find that it works for you on the painful days, but less so on the regular days. Again, this is for you to sort out and listen to what's effective and works best for you. No one can answer this question for you better than you can answer it for yourself. One of the things that we'll come to speak about is eliminating toxins in your life. Toxins can involve toxic foods, toxic environments, toxic waste, and toxic relationships. You'll have to listen very specifically to that voice inside, which will help you assess which sensitivities that you have to food based on how you feel the next day. And in fact, you should be documenting this as part of your daily routine and scoring how you feel on a particular day, and scores from 1 to 10. 10 being a feel-good day at your height, and 1 being the worst case scenario at your lowest. Along with the other many changes that you're about to facilitate in your life, there are many changes that will be necessary. Avoiding things that you dislike is one suggestion. This may not be practical, where perhaps a job is something that you would like to change and is necessary for you to continue to maintain your lifestyle and pay your bills and put food on the table. However, some of the things that you've chosen to do in your life, I can suggest that it's highly likely you dislike and are going along with for the sake of others, perhaps for your family, perhaps for friends, and so try to avoid as many of these things as possible that you dislike at this time. This is getting to know you again as part of this program, and you will set your limits as you go. Along with the many other changes that you're about to facilitate in your own life, it's likely that a change in relationships may be required. For some, this may mean that you're no longer able to entertain, have people to your household, and do things for others that you used to do. It may require less time on the telephone to chat and more effort to retain the support for yourself that was once extended to so many others. Not to worry, once you get back on your feet, you'll have no difficulty extending your generosity as you once did in other ways, if this discussion applies to you. But for now is the time that's critical to rebuild yourself, and you are now the priority. You are your BFF, and that will continue for the next year or two. Among the more significant changes that might be necessary are the ones that you'll keep in relationships, but you may know that have had a fundamental impact on you in a difficult way. This may be a relationship with a parent, spouse, partner, or family member that you wish to retain but cannot trade in. These relationships are more complex and will require more analysis and work on your part. It will be necessary in some cases to rework these long-standing relationships into a framework that is healthy and supportive for you. Perhaps you were absent the support that you wanted and needed for so long, but never received for years. It may be necessary to slowly distance yourself, maybe perhaps less frequency or by some other means, until you're able to rebuild yourself so you can provide yourself with the support that you now need. You'll have to create these boundaries that have not existed before this point in some cases. At this point, you'll need to work on yourself and time to facilitate change in the road to the healthiest self that you have ever known, inside and out. Over time, you'll establish the boundaries quite naturally that perhaps were non-existent and were unfamiliar to you for years, but have now become part of your norm. Give yourself some time. If abuse is an issue for you, it may be necessary to make more significant changes to some relationships. You may require time to decide this, and counseling is an option that may be beneficial for you to determine what's necessary for you individually to be at your healthiest. Be sure to seek a professional that's reputable and that you know will move you in a better direction.